Chapter 14:19. The void gate didn't look big on the outside, but it was extremely spacious on the inside. 36 people stepped into the void door and stood on both sides of the rectangular jade table. It still seemed very spacious. Although the people in the hall could not penetrate the door with their spiritual awareness, they could clearly see the actions of the 36 people. At this time, everyone was looking forward to it. They had heard that the materials for the radiant martial treasury were also very precious, but they did not know what those precious materials were. The people who entered the honorable martial treasury's void door were equally worried, although there were 36 people here, but in the end, only 20 entered the honorable martial treasury. Moreover, the lower one's ranking was, the lesser the reward. When all 36 of them stood up and each of them took a jade talisman, the jade box on the rectangular jade table suddenly opened. A translucent dewdrop appeared in front of everyone. The dewdrop was surrounded by water vapor, bringing with it a chilling aura of the Tao. What is this? After the appearance of this dewdrop, not only the people in the light treasury, but even the many master refiners who came to participate in the competition were frowning in silence. Tang Hua carefully sent a sound transmission to Ning Cheng. Brother Ning, what is this thing? I've never seen it before. It seems to be ice or water. Tang Hua was a little apprehensive. Normally, the first question was the easiest. If he didn't even know the first question, then he definitely wouldn't know the rest. Fortunately, she was only here as a foil, as the main person to answer the questions was Ning Cheng. However, Ning Cheng felt extremely surprised in his heart. What surprised him was not the material, but the foundation of crafting artifacts that Zhongli Baiqi had given him. Originally, he had the confidence to come here to help Tang Hua participate in the selection. It was not because he had seen the basics of blacksmithing, but because he had seen countless blacksmithing jade slips and seen countless blacksmithing materials. He had seen these jade slips introducing the materials from Mount Jiaoliang. Jiaoliang Mountain was the site of the ancient creation war. Naturally, the things that existed there were not simple. Not only that, but he had also seen Lu Dongca's cosmic vegetation. Plants and trees of the universe were not only used to describe alchemy materials, but they were also used to refine equipment. It was precisely because of this that he had the confidence to participate in the competition to identify materials. However, not only was this dewdrop not in any of the jade slips he had seen, it was also not in the universe plans. Instead, it was when he first learned the basics of refining. This basics of crafting artifact crafting really was not ordinary. Ning Cheng immediately thought of Zhongli Baiqi. Seeing Ning Cheng's name on the list, Tang Hua heaved a sigh of relief and whispered to Ning Cheng, I thought that Grandmaster Seed had gone to the Mo Luan royal region, but I didn't expect him to represent the sacred domain's Yi-clan sacred sect in the competition. Yi-clan. Ning Cheng seemed to have heard of this surname somewhere. Tang Hua explained from the side, the Yi-clan is the strongest surname in the Radiance sacred domain. Among the 10 Dao monarchs, Yiwen Mao is said to be the strongest. Ning Cheng nodded. He suspected that Grandmaster Seed going to the Mo Luan royal region was a smokescreen released by the Yi clan, and only Tang Hua would fall for it. Just think about it, how could a powerful artifact crafting expert like Grandmaster Seed not participate in the Radiance Treasury competition? After the first round of the Radiance Treasury, there were a total of 13 people ranked. After the 13 names were announced, the jade table disappeared, and a wide white jade passageway appeared at the back of the chaotic space. At the end of the white jade passage, another door appeared. Those who were not on the list had no choice but to walk out of the first void door of the Radiance Treasury. After waiting for a long time, they came here just to answer one question, or rather, they had to leave before they could answer the first question. The people in the Radiance Treasury's main hall were somewhat surprised. The 13 people on the list, other than Ning Cheng, were basically the most famous artifact crafting masters of Radiance Dominion. They never expected that the Tang family would casually hand such an important matter to Tang Hua. Tang Hua had randomly found an unknown artifact crafting master, yet he had obtained 5th place in the first round. If this was luck, then the Tang family's luck was too good. Even Tang Shi was very surprised. To be honest, he was not optimistic about Ning Cheng's chances. Artifact crafting, especially identifying artifact crafting materials, was not about strength, but experience and insight. Ning Cheng was also very surprised. He did not expect that he would only obtain 5th place despite recognizing the Infernal Heart Sacred Marrow and answering it in such detail. Who said that the people of Radiance Dominion were not good at artifact crafting? These guys were very strong. Because of the 13 people on the list, there were only 26 people in front of the rectangular jade table at the second door. Tang Hua was in a very good mood. As long as Ning Cheng could answer the second question correctly, then he would almost certainly be able to enter the top 10. Even if Ning Cheng could not answer it, he would still have a chance to enter the top 10. The jade box in front of the second jade table slowly opened, revealing a fist-sized pale yellow crystal in the middle of the jade box. This pale yellow crystal was not a natural artifact crafting material, but an essence spirit. A peerless powerhouse had refined a person alive and finally condensed their essence spirit into a crystal. What a vicious fellow! Ning Cheng sucked in a breath of cold air. He felt even more sure that his guess was not wrong. Seeing the time for half an incense stick gradually disappear, Ning Cheng did not think too much about it. His first purpose in coming here was to enter the Radiance Treasury. As for investigating who did it, he did not have the ability, nor did it have any meaning. Because this pale yellow crystal was refined and condensed from an essence spirit, he decided to call it a soul crystal for now. Ning Cheng used his fastest speed to inscribe some of the things he guessed into the jade talismans, and then sent the jade talismans into the round hole above the jade box, which had already begun to close. That's right, this was the first of the 10 innate waters, the 5 elements spirit water. However, Ning Cheng's 5 elements spirit water was completely different from this 5 elements spirit water. How could there be a black 5 elements spirit water? When he perfected the mysterious yellow bead, he obtained the 5 elements spirit water, which was colorful and crystal clear. Ning Cheng's gaze and spiritual consciousness fell on this black water droplet. He had a feeling that this was definitely the 5 elements spirit water. Tang Hua did not even ask Ning Cheng this time. She guessed that Ning Cheng did not know what it was. Because this time, Grandmaster Zhong Jing frowned and did not speak. He did not engrave anything on the jade talisman. She was sure that Grandmaster Zhong Jing had never seen this thing before. After Ning Cheng thought about it for a moment, he engraved the information about the 5 elements spirit water on the jade talisman. He guessed that this 5 elements spirit water should have undergone some changes. In the absence of certainty, it was better to answer honestly. Originally, Ning Cheng answered the questions very slowly. But this time, Ning Cheng was the first to answer and put the jade talisman into the hole above the jade box. "Brother Ning, did you answer it?" Tang Hua looked at Ning Cheng in surprise and asked. She believed that if Ning Cheng could not answer it, he would not have engraved the jade talisman so quickly. Ning Cheng nodded, "I just casually guessed it. As for whether it was correct or not, I don't know." After saying this, Ning Cheng's heart moved. He knew that his speed just now should not have been so fast. He should have thought about it for a long time and then engraved the jade talisman. But since he had already done it, he was not afraid. Even if someone recognized the 5 elements spirit water and guessed that he probably had a 5 elements good fortune treasure on him, it would not be a threat to him. Ning Cheng's words made the rest of the artifact crafting masters participating in the selection even more anxious. Grandmaster Zhong Jing's face was as gloomy as a drop of black water. Seeing that the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn was almost up, everyone hurried to engrave the jade talisman. As for what was engraved on the jade talisman, perhaps only the person who engraved it would know. Looking at the round hole closing, Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. If only the first place was selected to go to the 4th door, it was likely that he would be the only one. Ning Qing knew that he would not be the only one to go to the fourth door. The growth rings in front of him had already explained the situation. Sure enough, after everyone sent the jade talisman into the round hole, the results of the third round of identification came out. Ning Qing and Tang Hua impressively ranked first. The second place was not Grandmaster Zhong Jing but Grandmaster Lothar. Zhong Jing ranked third. There were only 3 rankings on the list, which meant that only Ning Qing, Grandmaster Zhong Jing, and Grandmaster Lothar would enter the fourth door of the Light Treasury. Ning Qing glanced at Grandmaster Lothar. Grandmaster Lothar had blonde hair. When he ranked 5th in the first round, Lothar had already looked at him. Brother Ning, Grandmaster Lothar is helping the Holy Master of the Radiant Sanctuary participate in the Light Treasury's qualification selection. Tang Hua saw Ning Qing looking at Grandmaster Lothar. She suppressed the excitement in her heart and whispered to Ning Qing. Before participating in the selection, she never thought that she and Ning Qing could rush into the top 3. Chapter 1421. Brother Shi, it looks like I underestimated this Ning Qing. He actually managed to get first place in the third round. Amazing, amazing. Zhu Jin, who was standing beside Tang Shi, sighed. Tang Shi was also shocked in his heart. How could he have imagined that Ning Qing would not only rush into the top 3, but also get first place in the third round? How was Zhu Jin looking down on Ning Qing? He was clearly looking down on him, Tang Shi. As for amazing, amazing, it was obviously referring to him, Tang Shi. In his heart, he was also looking forward to it. If Ning Qing really managed to get first place, then what harm was there in taking the blame? Sacred Master is overpraising me. This Ning Qing was brought back by Hua or by accident. I have never interacted with him before, so I did not expect him to have this kind of ability. Tang Shi smiled as he explained to Zhu Jin and the few experts around him. Brother Shi, calling me Sacred Master is too polite. I have something to discuss with you. Zhu Jin's expression suddenly changed as he sent a sound transmission to Tang Shi. Tang Shi somewhat knew what Zhu Jin wanted to discuss, but he still sent a sound transmission. I do not know what Brother Zhu wants. As long as Tang Shi can help, Tang Shi will definitely do his best to help. Zhu Jin's face immediately revealed a happy smile. Actually, it's not a big deal. There is something in the Radiant Treasury that is of great use to me. If Hua is the first to enter the Radiant Treasury, I would like to use other treasures to exchange for this thing. What does Brother Shi think? Tang Shi sighed in his heart. Sure enough, this was the case. He cautiously replied, Brother Zhu, if Hua and Ning Qing do not have an agreement, then I will definitely help Hua agree. If she has an agreement with that artifact crafting master, then I can only persuade her. Zhu Jin's face was full of smiles as he spoke. That's natural. Although he said that, Zhu Jin felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. Ning Qing was an artifact crafting master invited by the Tang clan, which indicated that Ning Qing and the Tang clan had a close relationship. Now Tang Shi said that he did not know about the secret agreement between Tang Hua and Ning Qing. Who was he trying to deceive? Master Ning is really skilled. Master Luxia suddenly smiled as he looked at Ning Qing. After the last round of identifying the materials, Grandmaster Jing Xing took the initiative to look for Ning Qing to talk to him. This time, after the identification of the materials, Grandmaster Luxia took the initiative to look for Ning Qing to talk to him. Obviously, in the eyes of these two masters, Ning Qing had become their number one enemy. Ning Qing showed a faint smile. I'm just trying my luck. Compared to Master Lothar, I'm still far behind. Grandmaster Zhong Jing walked over and said with a smile, there are only the 3 of us now. Grandmaster Ning, Grandmaster Lothar, please. This time, Grandmaster Zhong Jing did not grab the first spot. Instead, he extended his hand and asked Ning Qing and Grandmaster Luo Sa to go first. Not only that, but he also directly upgraded Ning Cheng's address to the level of a grandmaster. Ning Cheng was also not polite, and was the first to walk towards the white jade avenue that led to the fourth door. Grandmaster Zhong Jing took a step forward and walked to Ning Cheng's side before asking, "Grandmaster Ning, when you answered that drop of black water, I saw that Grandmaster Ning answered the fastest. Could it be that Grandmaster Ning has seen this material before?" Ning Cheng thought to himself, "Not only have I seen it, but my good fortune spirit spear was also refined from the 5 elements spirit water." He was too lazy to explain this to Si Jing. "I'm just trying my luck. How can I see all kinds of materials?" Ning Cheng's perfunctory words made Grandmaster Zhong Jing's face turn ugly. Although he was not very enthusiastic towards many people, in the Radiant Bright sect, whether it was Sacred Master Zhu Jin or the 10 Great Tao Lords, they all had to respectfully address him as Grandmaster Zhong Jing. There was really no one who would answer him in such a perfunctory manner like Ning Cheng. "Grandmaster Ning, I have something to discuss with Brother Ning." Si Jing directly sent a sound transmission to Ning Cheng this time. Ning Cheng smiled and said without using a sound transmission, "I wonder what Grandmaster Zhong Jing wants to discuss with me. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't mind." Grandmaster Lothar looked at Grandmaster Zhong Jing in doubt, but he immediately understood what was going on and frowned. Si Jing did not expect Ning Cheng to disrespect him so much. He had clearly used a sound transmission just now, but Ning Cheng had said it out loud. This was simply contempt for him. There were a total of 6 people here, so he did not continue to speak. Instead, he smiled and said, "I'll talk about it after this round of material identification." Ning Cheng just smiled, but did not express any opinion. Even if Si Jing did not say anything, he knew what Si Jing wanted to say. He and Si Jing did not have any intersection, so if Si Jing wanted to ask him for help, it would definitely be regarding the first treasure to be taken after entering the Radiant Treasury. Most likely, Si Jing had taken a fancy to a certain treasure, but was worried that Ning Cheng would enter the Radiant Treasury first and take it away. Inside the fourth door, the 6 people stood still. After Ning Cheng and the other 2 took the jade talismans, the jade box on the rectangular jade table slowly opened. In fact, Ning Cheng was not only looking forward to the contents of the jade box, but he was also looking forward to the Radiant Treasury. He had not even entered the Radiant Treasury, but he had already seen treasures like the Flame Heart Sacred Essence and the 5 elements Spirit Water. Once he entered the Radiant Treasury, how could the treasures be bad? The materials for the 4th round should not be any worse than the 5 elements Spirit Water, right? After opening the jade box, Ning Cheng was once again dumbfounded. He did not know what it was. The contents of the jade box were very simple, only a black fingernail. Ning Cheng's heart sank. It seemed that there was no chance for him to be the first. Fortunately, even if he did not know it, he had already entered the top 3. Ning Cheng's heart calmed down, and he began to observe Grandmaster Zhong Jing and Grandmaster Lothar. To Ning Cheng's delight, these 2 seemed to have never seen this fingernail before. They were also frowning, and did not engrave any information on the jade talisman in time. It seemed that the 3 of them were standing on the same starting line this time. In that case, he still had a chance to get the first place. Ning Cheng looked at Grandmaster Zhong Jing, and Grandmaster Zhong Jing and Grandmaster Lothar both looked at Ning Cheng. Obviously, the 2 also saw that Ning Cheng, like them, had never seen such a thing, which made Grandmaster Lothar's heart slightly calm. Grandmaster Zhong Jing was even more afraid of Ning Cheng, because Ning Cheng had never seen a soul crystal before. But Ning Cheng, who had never seen a soul crystal before, could enter the top 6 with his own judgment. Who knew if Ning Cheng could surpass him again with his judgment? The 6 people here all used their spiritual consciousness to penetrate the black fingernail at the same time. At the center of the soul crystal, Ning Cheng used spiritual consciousness explosion, and his spiritual consciousness barely penetrated it. But this black fingernail, not only Ning Cheng, but everyone's spiritual consciousness could clearly see through it. In everyone's spiritual consciousness, this was the most ordinary fingernail. Apart from the black color and a bit bigger, there was no difference from an ordinary fingernail. Just right that this was a fingernail. Ning Cheng shook his head. If this was just an ordinary fingernail, it would never have appeared behind the fourth door. Tang Hua whispered to Ning Cheng, "Brother Ning, I look at it, and it looks like an ordinary fingernail. I heard that the people with the bloodline of the ancient giants are several feet tall, so their fingernails should be the same size, right?" Pan Qian. When Ning Cheng heard about the bloodline of the ancient giants, he immediately thought of Pan Qian. Then he remembered the Pan clan. He heard that the Pan clan was a race with the bloodline of the ancient giants. Moreover, the Pan clan had an extraordinary origin, and the owner of the good fortune indestructible axe was the Pan clan. Ning Cheng guessed that this fingernail should have nothing to do with the Pan clan. The Pan clan's universe was the five elements universe, while this place was the light and dark universe. Such independent universes existed in the vast void of the primal chaos, and he did not know how many of them there were. He had been cultivating for so long, but he could not even peek into one or two of them. For a technological planet like Earth, with only technology, he would never be able to peek into the true mysteries of the universe. With a sigh, Ning Cheng knew that he had lost this time. Even Grandmaster Zhongjing and Grandmaster Lothar could not answer it. Grandmaster Zhongjing had taken first place twice, so his ranking should be above him. At most, he could only get second place. Zhongjing seemed to have understood something, and his spiritual consciousness began to engrave on the jade talisman. "Brother Ning, if it really doesn't work, then we can engrave something on it." Tang Hua saw Ning Cheng's expression and knew that Ning Cheng really had no other way. "Let me take a look." Ning Cheng was still unwilling to give up, so he let his spiritual consciousness fall on the black fingernail. It was not time yet, but he did not want to give up. Just like the technology on Earth, it might never be able to peek into the true mysteries of the vast universe, but the technology on Earth was developing every day. Every day, they would gain a little more understanding of the universe. Ning Cheng guessed that the Radiant Treasury had something that everyone wanted. If he thought about it for a while, maybe he would get more answers. Ning Cheng completely immersed his mind and Tao sense into this black fingernail. Not knowing how long it took, Ning Cheng suddenly shook and opened his eyes. When his Tao sense lingered on this ordinary black fingernail, he seemed to have seen another universe. Was this ordinary black fingernail a space? No, if it was a space, why couldn't he penetrate his spiritual consciousness? Maybe the space was not on this fingernail, but the space he saw was behind the fingernail, multidimensional space. Ning Cheng felt shocked in his heart. From a technological point of view, this was a multidimensional space. But for cultivators, this was a boundary. The same position might have two different flows of time and space, and that kind of boundary might be different from ordinary boundary. For ordinary boundary, a cultivator could tear it apart when their strength reached a certain level. But this kind of different spatial boundary in the same position, Ning Cheng estimated that even if he reached the world creation realm, he might not be able to tear it apart. Perhaps it was easier to explain this situation with the multidimensional space of technology. "Brother Ning, time is almost up. Hurry up and write something in it." Tang Hua saw Ning Cheng frowning in thought and quickly whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. Ning Cheng immediately sobered up. This was not the time to study this thing. He was still participating in the fourth round of the material identification competition. Although Ning Cheng was not sure if his judgment was correct or not, and he did not have the time to continue to observe, he still engraved his guess into the jade strip. The multidimensional space that he felt a moment ago might not have been the fingernail itself, but because of this black fingernail, he could see the multidimensional space. This black fingernail was just a medium that allowed him to feel different spacetime in the same position. If the Radiant Storehouse had this black nail, then Ning Cheng would have definitely used up one of his opportunities to choose the materials to take away this black nail. Dong, dong, dong. 3 consecutive sounds rang out. The sound was like the sound of water droplets falling on the surface of a quiet lake. It was very pleasant to the ears. 3 key-shaped jade talismans landed on the rectangular table. Clearly, these 3 key-shaped items were for the top 3. Each key was engraved with a name. Ning Cheng could clearly see that his and Tang Hua's names were engraved on a purple-colored key. Behind his and Tang Hua's names, there was a first character. He had seen the key to the seed mirror, and the number engraved under the name was Zisher. Apart from that, there were also 5 golden marks on the purple key. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and took the purple key in his hand. The first should be the first to enter the treasury, and the second should be the second to enter. Congratulations Grandmaster Ning, you have obtained the first qualification to enter the treasure house. Grandmaster Lothar's face showed an obvious sense of loss, but he still came over and cupped his fists to congratulate Ning Cheng. Brother Ning, let's go in. Only after we come out, the second key will take effect. Tang Hua whispered, with a slightly excited tone. She still could not contain it. The Radiant Storehouse was known as the most valuable treasure house in the entire light and dark universe. How many good things were inside? She was really lucky to be able to join forces with Ning Cheng. This meant that she could get 2 kinds of materials from the Radiant Storehouse. Getting 2 kinds of materials was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that she and Ning Cheng would be the first to enter the Radiant Storehouse to choose. A burst of roaring sounds came, and in front of the crowd, a path once again appeared. This was no longer a white jade passage, but a purple gold passage. At the end of the passage, there was a closed door, with only a keyhole on the door. Even a fool could imagine that behind this door was the real Radiant Storehouse. And the key to enter this door was now in the hands of the top 10 people who identified the materials. Ning Cheng looked at the key in his hand, and in his heart, he admired the creator of this treasure house. This creator may have been a witness to the opening of the light and dark universe. How many treasures did a chaotic universe have? And some of these treasures might be in the Radiant Storehouse. Grandmaster Ning, please wait a moment. Grandmaster Zhong Jing saw Ning Cheng about to enter the treasure house and quickly stopped Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng stopped, looked at Grandmaster Zhong Jing, and said calmly, I wonder why Grandmaster Zhong Jing stopped me. Zhong Jing had a warm smile on his face. Grandmaster Ning, do you remember that I had something to discuss with you? Ning Cheng replied in a calm voice, I don't remember. Zhong Jing suddenly froze. According to the normal plot, after he said this sentence, Ning Cheng should have immediately said that he remembered, and finally asked him about it. Then, he would have brought up the matter of trading with Ning Cheng. What he did not expect was that Ning Cheng did not give him any face and directly said that he did not remember. If it were an ordinary item, Zhong Jing would not hesitate to turn around and ignore Ning Cheng. But he did not know how much effort he had put into obtaining this treasure in the Radiant Storehouse. Now that he was about to succeed, an unknown person like Ning Cheng had snatched the first place. If he had known that Ning Cheng had this kind of ability, he would not have hesitated to kill Ning Cheng. Brother Ning, I want to trade something with you. Brother Ning can put forward any conditions, plus I owe Brother Ning a favor in exchange. Brother Ning can rest assured that the materials I want will not be of any use to Brother Ning. Zhong Jing forcibly suppressed the discomfort in his heart and spoke with a solemn voice. Even the way he addressed Ning Cheng had changed from Grandmaster Ning to Brother Ning. From Daoist Ning to Grandmaster Ning, and then to Brother Ning. Perhaps only Zhong Jing himself could understand this change in his state of mind. This time, he did not dare to send a sound transmission again. He knew that Ning Cheng would not buy his words. Ning Cheng showed a slight smile. Daoist Zhong Jing, what use is your favor to me? Can you help me fight, or can you help me refine artifacts? Zhong Jing suddenly became speechless. In terms of cultivation, he was indeed higher than Ning Cheng. He was at the great circle of the creation realm and was only a step away from the unification realm. This cultivation might be an unattainable realm in front of others. But in front of Ning Cheng, this cultivation might not be enough. As for refining artifacts, he was not as good as Ning Cheng in the material identification competition. How could he help Ning Cheng refine artifacts? Seeing Ning Cheng turn around and continue to leave, Zhong Jing's face turned as gloomy as a black pot. He opened his mouth for the second time, but this time it was not Ning Cheng but Tang Hua. Niece Tang Hua, your grandfather and I have a deep friendship. Tang Hua did not wait for Zhong Jing to finish speaking and spoke with an apologetic and respectful tone with cupped fists. This junior has always admired Grandmaster Zhong Jing, but entering the Radiance Treasury this time is not something this junior can decide. This junior has to wait for Brother Ning to finish choosing before I can choose. If Grandmaster is interested in the materials I took out, this junior is willing to exchange with Grandmaster. I can take out 4 top-quality spirit artifacts, a top-notch world, a Radiance Grand Spirit technique. Zhong Jing did not care about anything else and simply spoke his mind. When Tang Hua heard these things, she immediately felt moved. What was her purpose in entering the Radiance Treasury? In the end, it was for the artifacts. Materials were not artifacts, and no matter how good the materials were, they could not directly turn into artifacts. However, she did not want to make the decision herself. Instead, she looked at Ning Cheng and asked, Brother Ning, do you mean? Ning Cheng knew that Si Jing's conditions were in fact not for Tang Hua, but for him. Because even if Zhong Jing and Tang Hua successfully traded, Ning Cheng would still be the one to provoke the artifacts first. Zhong Jing wanted him to listen to these conditions, and then choose to trade. Unfortunately, the conditions proposed by Zhong Jing were garbage to Ning Cheng. Whatever you choose, I naturally have no opinion on it. After I pick out the materials that belong to me, the rest of the materials will be yours. You can decide as you please. Ning Cheng said with a smile. Tang Hua, who did not understand it, suddenly understood after listening to Ning Cheng's words. Zhong Jing did not want to trade with Tang Hua, but with Ning Cheng. Grandmaster Zhong Jing, I'm really sorry, but this junior will still say what I just said. After this junior comes out, if Grandmaster is interested in my materials, this junior is willing to trade with Grandmaster. Tang Hua spoke with a respectful tone. Ning Cheng secretly nodded his head, even if he took out 3 materials first. Even if Zhong Jing used 4 top-quality spirit artifacts, he would not be able to trade for the items in the Radiance Treasury. If the things in the Radiance Treasury were all trash, then Zhong Jing would not have done such a thing. Seeing Ning Cheng and Tang Hua walk towards the Radiance Treasury, Zhong Jing's heart felt like it was on fire. Anger, unwillingness, regret, and a little expectation. That was, he hoped that Ning Cheng would not take away what he needed. Zhu Jin saw Ning Cheng and Tang Hua walk towards the door of the Radiance Treasury, and his eyes almost popped out. He was worried that Ning Cheng would take the first place, which was why he greeted Tang Shi first. What he did not expect was that Ning Cheng really took the first place, and even went to open the Radiance Treasury. The reason why he invited Grandmaster Lothar was that he also wanted something from the Radiance Treasury. Grandmaster Lothar and Grandmaster Zhong Jing were different. Grandmaster Lothar did not have anything in particular, which was why he hit it off with him. Now that Ning Cheng was about to open the treasury, he did not think about how to stop Ning Cheng from entering the treasury, but to quickly communicate with Tang Shi. By the time Zhu Jin understood this, he found that Tang Shi was already surrounded by several Dao monarchs. He quickly squeezed in and cupped his fists. Congratulations, Brother Shi, for being the first to enter the Radiance Treasury. Tang Shi still could not understand how his Tang clan could get the first qualification to enter the Radiance Treasury. The first qualification to enter the Radiance Treasury allowed one to choose 5 materials. However, he did not know about the agreement between his granddaughter, Tang Hua, and Ning Cheng. If he had known in advance that his Tang clan could get the first place, how could he not care about this matter? At this moment, there was nothing that made him regret more than this. Chapter 1423. Brother Shi, please help me stop Hua. Otherwise, it would be too late. Brother Shi, don't forget what I asked you before. Zhu Jin called out to Tang Shi from afar. He had no choice but to call out. If he did not call out, Tang Hua and Ning Cheng would enter the radiant treasury. In fact, even if Zhu Jin did not speak, Tang Shi was also prepared to call out to Tang Hua. Before, he did not think that Tang Hua could get first place. Now that Tang Hua got first place, he had to explain to Tang Hua what he wanted from the radiant treasury. With so many treasures in the radiant treasury, he would not feel at ease letting Tang Hua and an outsider enter. The reason why he did not speak was to let Zhu Jin stop him, and then he would give Zhu Jin some face. Everyone quieted down and looked at Tang Shi. After Zhu Jin spoke, Tang Hua pretended to hesitate for a moment before nodding and taking out his communication pearl to send a message to Tang Hua. Before the results of the Radiant Treasury's selection came out, the Radiant Treasury's main hall could not send out messages to the participants. Now that the selection had ended, apart from not being able to enter the Radiant Treasury's main hall, the people in the Radiant Treasury's main hall could send out messages to the participants. Seeing that they were about to reach the Radiant Treasury's main door, Tang Hua suddenly stopped. Ning Cheng looked at Tang Hua in doubt. Why did you stop? For Ning Cheng, after entering the Radiant Treasury, he was the first to choose. But since he came here with Tang Hua, then he had to wait for Tang Hua to enter together. This was a form of courtesy. After all, this opportunity was given to him by Tang Hua. My grandfather sent me a message, saying that he wanted me to stop and explain some things to me. Tang Hua spoke in an apologetic tone. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile but did not speak. He guessed that if it was not someone who wanted to trade with Tang Shi to stop Tang Hua, then it was Tang Shi himself who wanted the treasures in the Radiant Treasury. No matter which one it was, he did not care. He only wanted to pick out the 3 treasures that belonged to him. As for the remaining 2, it was up to Tang Hua to deal with it. Zhu Jin, who was in the Radiant Treasury's main hall, saw Tang Hua stop and immediately felt relieved. The people in the hall probably already knew his purpose, so he did not bother to send a sound transmission. Instead, he directly spoke to Tang Shi. Brother Shi, I only want one thing, the rest will be up to Brother Shi. Of course, I will give Brother Shi a chance to choose from the treasury. At the same time, I will give Hua, my Misty Rain Radiance Divine Art. As long as Zhu Jin is able to do it, there won't be a problem. Master Lothar represented Zhu Jin in the treasure vault selection. Master Lothar also placed in the top 3 and had 3 chances to choose from the Radiant Vault. Then the crystal cabinet slowly opened, and a more majestic primal chaos aura seeped out. Ning Cheng immediately rolled up the stone and put it into a jade box that he had prepared a long time ago. He then sealed the jade box and sent it into the mysterious yellow bead. The key once again fell into Ning Cheng's hands, but the 5 golden traces on it had decreased by 1, becoming 4. Tang Hua looked at the key in Ning Cheng's hand with envy. She wanted to ask Ning Cheng about the stone, but she knew that this request was too much. Big brother Ning, what do you want to choose for the second treasure? Tang Hua's heart pounded as she asked Ning Cheng. Her eyes had already swept through the countless treasures in the treasure house. Because after Ning Cheng made his choice, she still had 2 chances to choose. Ning Cheng walked to the small group of fetal membranes that contained the origin of the universe and said, my second choice is this. With that, Ning Cheng directly inserted the key, and another Dao charm spread out. The crystal cabinet opened, and a palm-sized fetal membrane fell into Ning Cheng's hands. Before the origin aura could spread out, Ning Cheng put it into a jade box and sent it into the mysterious yellow bead. Only 3 golden traces remained on the purple key. The first 2 things that Ning Cheng chose did not exceed Tang Hua's expectations. In Tang Hua's view, whether it was the stone that exuded a vast and majestic aura of primal chaos, or the palm-sized universe fetal membrane, both were peerless treasures in this radiant treasury. However, Ning Cheng stood in front of the crystal cabinet containing the soul-gathering immortal lotus, and Tang Hua almost thought that she had seen it wrong. The soul-gathering immortal lotus was indeed a top-grade material, but that was only relative to the outside world. In this radiant treasury, the soul-gathering immortal lotus was nothing more than garbage, not even comparable to garbage. Or, if there was a crystal cabinet in the treasury, the creator of the treasury might have casually thrown something inside, and that thing would be the soul-gathering immortal lotus. Big Brother Ning, you wouldn't choose the soul-gathering immortal lotus for the third item, right? Tang Hua asked in disbelief. Ning Cheng nodded, that's right, I do want to choose the soul-gathering immortal lotus for the third item. A friend of mine had his corporeal body destroyed, and after so many years, I couldn't find the soul-gathering immortal lotus. Since I saw it in the radiant treasury today, I naturally want to take it away. But, it's too wasteful. Tang Hua spoke up anxiously. The soul-gathering immortal lotus was a treasure that could be found outside. Everything here was irreplaceable. Seeing Ning Cheng shake his head and continue to insert the key into the keyhole of the soul-gathering immortal lotus, Tang Hua could no longer bear it. Big Brother Ning, wait. After Ning Cheng stopped, she quickly spoke up, Big Brother Ning, I know a place that might have the soul-gathering immortal lotus. I heard that not only does it have the soul-gathering immortal lotus, but it also has a light and dark treasure tree. Light and dark treasure tree? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. Tang Hua quickly nodded, yes, the light and dark treasure tree is a natural treasure tree from the origin of our universe. That tree contains the endless aura of the laws of darkness and light. According to the rumors, as long as one obtains that tree, they would become the strongest person in this part of the world. Since there is such a good thing, why doesn't anyone touch it? Ning Cheng looked at Tang Hua and felt a little puzzled. Tang Hua explained, because that place is called the Heart of Light and Dark. No matter how strong a person is, once they enter the Heart of Light and Dark, they would have very little chance of coming back. However, the soul-gathering immortal lotus is not in the depths of the Heart of Light and Dark, but at the edge. As long as you don't go too deep, there would not be any problems. The few soul-gathering immortal lotuses that appeared in the radiant sacred domain came from the edge of the Heart of Light and Dark. Do you still have it? Ning Cheng felt slightly moved. If he could find the soul-gathering immortal lotus in the Heart of Light and Dark, he could choose the innate iron essence, or even the light origin aura or the light origin scroll. Just as Tang Hua said, every opportunity in this place was something that no one could dream of. Tang Hua shook her head, that was many years ago. Whether it still exists or not, we have to go and see it to know. In other words, Tang Hua was not sure if the soul-gathering immortal lotus existed in the Heart of Light and Dark. Ning Cheng felt a bit of pity in his heart, but he did not hesitate to put the key into the crystal cabinet of the soul-gathering immortal lotus. This was related to Lu Dongsa's corporeal body, and he did not want to bet on it. He could only enter this place once. If he could not find the soul-gathering immortal lotus in the Heart of Light and Dark, Lu Dongsa would lose this opportunity. The treasures in the radiant treasury were indeed tempting, but no matter how tempting it was not as precious as friendship. Lu Dongsa could even disregard his life for him, so it was not a big deal for him to waste a small opportunity. Seeing Ning Cheng take away the soul-gathering immortal lotus, Tang Hua sighed in her heart. Ning Cheng was probably the only one who chose the soul-gathering immortal lotus from the radiant treasury. Ning Cheng's choice, in her opinion, was stupid, but it also made her recognize Ning Cheng's character even more. A person who could give up such a precious opportunity for a friend, in any case, was worthy of her respect. It's your turn to choose. Seeing Tang Hua make her choice, Ning Cheng spoke up, I will give you a suggestion, after you go out, it would be best for you to hand over the half-Xiantian treasure carriage to your grandfather Tang Shi for safekeeping. You will only be able to own such a half-innate treasure carriage after you create a world. As for the heaven-splitting mother iron, don't tell anyone about it. Otherwise, it won't do you any good. Many thanks for Big Brother Ning's reminder, but I have already selected 2 treasures from the treasure house. If that is the case, then I am still missing one. Tang Hua knew that what Ning Cheng had said was right, but she still felt helpless about it. The heaven-splitting mother iron had to be exposed. Ning Cheng showed a smile. Many thanks for taking me into the treasure house, but there is nothing I can help you with. After you go out, just tell them that you and I both fancied a half-innate treasure carriage. Because you want this treasured carriage, you can give me the other 4 spots. This won't do. Those people are already jealous of you. If you say that you have obtained 4 things, then I am afraid that they would go crazy, and then join forces to besiege you. Tang Hua felt grateful in her heart, but did not hesitate to reject Ning Cheng's proposal. Ning Cheng spoke up helplessly, "It's all the same to me. Even if I don't get a single thing, after I go out, there would still be people who would try to attack me. So whether I get 3 or 4, my situation would not change." Tang Hua was not a stupid person, she understood Ning Cheng's words. She knew that it would not make any difference to Ning Cheng, but it would make a huge difference to her. "Many thanks, big brother Ning. Tang Hua will definitely repay you in the future." Tang Hua bowed and thanked Ning Cheng. Whether it was the same for Ning Cheng or not, Ning Cheng was helping her. Ning Cheng waved his hand and spoke, "Since we have already selected the things, let's go out. Big brother Ning, you can rest assured that if Shi and Zhu Jin decide to deal with you, I will definitely ask my grandfather to help." Tang Hua felt grateful towards Ning Cheng in her heart, and felt that the Tang clan should help Ning Cheng a little. Ning Cheng spoke up, "There is no need for help, as long as your grandfather does not act against me, I will be happy." "How is that possible? You have helped me so much. If not for you, I would not have been able to enter the treasure house, let alone choose these 2 peerless treasures." Tang Hua spoke up in a straightforward manner. Ning Cheng did not explain. Don't look at Tang Hua's age of cultivation compared to him, however, he had definitely experienced a lot more things compared to Tang Hua. Tang Hua might not understand these things, but he could see it clearly. Zhong Jing, who had been waiting impatiently for a long time, finally saw Ning Cheng and Tang Hua slowly walk out. As long as the 3 of them attacked, he would choose Shi as his breakthrough point and force him to retreat. There were a few reasons why he wanted to beat Shi up. First, Shi had a huge grudge against him, and he was blocking the space in front of him. The second was to look at Tang Hua's face and spare Tang Shi, this old man. The third was naturally Zhu Jin, who was the strongest amongst the 3. Even if the 3 of them had cultivations at the convergence realm, Ning Cheng could still make out Zhu Jin's strength with just a glance. Moreover, Ning Cheng was not aware of this seemingly ordinary-looking man in the crowd, but at this time when he stood out, Ning Cheng immediately felt the pressure. This person's cultivation was actually the strongest here, so strong that even he might not be a match for him. Seeing this man stand out, Zhu Jin and company frowned, but they did not say a word, nor did they attack. The onlookers knew very well that once this person came out, the competition would become even more intense. "Grandmaster Ning, you shouldn't know me, so let me introduce myself. I am Wen Mao, from the Radiant Sacred Domains Clan Sacred Sect." The man said with cupped fists with a smile. Ning Cheng instantly understood that this person was the leader of the Radiant Sacred Domains 10 Dao Monarchs, Wen Mao. He was also the strongest among the 10 Dao Monarchs of the Radiant Sacred Domain. Even Zhu Jin was not his match. It was no wonder that Zhu Jin had to give him face. Ning Cheng did not speak. He knew that Wen Mao did not stand out to help him. The main reason was that this fellow wanted to get a piece of the pie. Wen Mao should know that once Zhu Jin and the other 2 killed him, the items would be divided. Then, Wen Mao would have nothing to do with it. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not show any expression of gratitude, Wen Mao did not mind. Everyone knew his motive, so there was no need to hide it. "Grandmaster Ning, Brother Shimu and I are like brothers. If you were the one who touched Brother Shimu's cave abode, then I, Wen Mao, will never let this matter rest. When he said the last sentence, Yi Wenmao's face turned solemn and slightly angry. Ning Qing sighed, "Yi Wenmao, if you want to spread your legs, then go ahead. No one is in the mood to despise you. Can you keep that memorial arch of yours in your Yi clan's sacred sect? Don't disgust people, okay?" Saying this sentence, Ning Cheng's imposing aura soared even more, as ripples of spear intent surged out one after another, as he spoke in a clear voice. "Senior Shimu's immortal cave has been destroyed for such a long time, yet no one has come forward to speak. Now that I just came out of the treasury, all sorts of stinky bugs have come forward, claiming to seek justice for Senior Shimu. Don't you have any shame? Today, I, Ning Cheng, will stand here and say that the destruction of Senior Shimu's cave abode had nothing to do with me. Otherwise, he would most likely end up the same as Tsing Laifu, with his body destroyed." Ning Cheng raised his hand and tore through the void in the hall. At the same time, he punched out. Boom 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 boom. The violent aura exploded in the Radiance Treasury's hall, and the many restrictions in the Radiance Treasury's hall shattered under this violent aura. Ning Cheng immediately felt a huge backlash of power, but after feeling this power, Ning Cheng did not feel surprised, but instead felt happy. This was the complete opposite of what he had expected. Naturally, he did not think about the reason. Instead, he charged into the void that he had torn open without hesitation and disappeared under the backlash of this power. No one chased after Ning Cheng, causing Tang Shi's expression to turn ugly. Not only did Tang Shi's expression turn ugly, but even Zhu Jin's expression turned ugly. If Yi Wenmao hadn't attacked in the chaos, Ning Cheng would never have had the chance to tear through the void and escape. Since the two of them attacked Ning Cheng's only chance was to turn back and defend. Otherwise, his body would shatter and his essence spirit would escape. With Yi Wenmao's strength, how could he make such a low-level mistake? The only explanation for this was that Yi Wenmao had deliberately helped Ning Cheng instead of helping him. Yi Wenmao naturally didn't let Ning Cheng escape out of kindness. He wanted to kill Ning Cheng alone and snatch away the things on Ning Cheng. Among the experts in the Radiant Sacred Domain, who didn't know that Yi Wenmao not only had the best strength but also the best tracking methods. As long as Yi Wenmao glanced at someone, even if they tried to escape, they would never be able to escape from Yi Wenmao's palm. In other words, this fellow wanted to eat everything for himself. Yi Wenmao showed an ashamed expression and said apologetically, "I didn't cooperate well just now. This person escaped, and I have some responsibility. Brother Zhu and Brother Shi, rest assured, I will definitely catch this person and make up for my mistakes. I might not be good at anything else, but tracking isn't a problem for me. As long as this person doesn't walk out of this side of the universe, he will die." Zhu Jin's expression returned to normal. Even if he felt unhappy, he couldn't fight with Yi Wenmao. After Yi Wenmao finished speaking, he smiled slightly, "Then I'll have to trouble Dao Lord Yi. I don't know where this person came from, but he can even tear the void of the Radiance Treasury's main hall. He's simply too strong." When Zhu Jin said this, the expressions of many people in the hall changed slightly. Zhu Jin's words were indeed not nonsense. The void of the Radiance Treasury's main hall was publicly acknowledged to be powerful, but there really wasn't anyone who could tear the void of the Radiance Treasury's main hall. To tear the void here, one not only needed a powerful Grand Dao, but also an astonishing Array Dao. Yi Wenmao also spoke with a stern expression, "That's right. I will chase after this person now. I can't let this person continue to cause trouble in my radiant sky. Sacred Master, Brother Yu, Brother Shi, please rest assured. Once I catch this person, I will immediately bring him back." No one thought that Yi Wenmao couldn't catch Ning Cheng, nor did anyone think that he would bring Ning Cheng back. Yi Wenmao was a smiling tiger, but he always hid a dagger behind his smile. It was very likely that she had left a mark on his body. As Ning Cheng thought of this, he was even more certain in his heart. He had to leave immediately. If he didn't know that Yi Wenmao had left a mark on him, then he definitely wouldn't be Yi Wenmao's opponent. Initially, Ning Qing planned to take away the 5-colored star splitter bow before leaving. But at this moment, he didn't hesitate to call out Chasing Bull and let Chasing Bull control the starry sky wheel to rush out of the radiant sacred domain as fast as possible. The 5-colored star splitter bow could be picked up at any time. Chasing Bull controlled the starry sky wheel, while Ning Qing himself entered the mysterious yellow bead. No matter how powerful Yi Wenmao was, he could not sense the imprint inside the mysterious yellow bead. In the mysterious yellow bead, he could slowly search for the location of the imprint, as well as when Yi Wenmao had placed this imprint on it. Ning Cheng's judgment wasn't wrong. Less than 10 breaths after Chasing Bull controlled the starry sky wheel to leave, Yi Wenmao landed at the place where Ning Cheng had stood. Not to mention that he had placed a mark on Ning Cheng. Even if he hadn't placed a mark on Ning Cheng, as long as he stared at someone, they wouldn't be able to escape his tracking. His innate ability was to sense Dao charm auras. As long as you were still in this part of the universe, your Dao charm would always exist. As long as one's Dao charm existed, Yi Wenmao could find it. Therefore, as long as he stared at someone, they wouldn't be able to escape his grasp. Before Yi Wenmao landed, he had a faint smile on his face. It was a smile of confidence and control. When he landed on the ground, his expression instantly changed. His imprint had stayed here for a while before disappearing without a trace. Not only that, but he couldn't feel any Dao charm aura from Ning Qing within the range of his spiritual consciousness. The Dao charm, the smell, and all the auras related to Ning Qing disappeared without a trace. How was this possible? Yi Wenmao clenched his fists in disbelief. He even squeezed out water from the air. If he really let Ning Qing escape, then he would truly be an idiot among idiots. Offending Zhu Jin, Tang Shi, and Yi Shi, just to let a bastard who scolded him escape. If such a thing happened to him, Yi Wenmao, then he would have become the biggest joke in the world. Yi Wenmao forcibly calmed his mind, and his spiritual consciousness spread out endlessly. Even his innate spirit technique spread out endlessly. After a full hour, Yi Wenmao retracted his spiritual consciousness and innate spirit techniques with a livid face. He had truly lost track of Ning Qing. This was simply a mockery of him. Not only did he not get to eat the fish, but he also ended up with a fishy smell. No wonder this person could enter the treasure house and obtain first place. Since he was preparing to step into the third step, he would not let go of anything that could help him reach the third step. As long as he reached the third step, he could return to the light sacred domain and take away the 5-colored star splitter bow. Chapter 1428. Ning Qing took out the fist-sized gray stone for the second time. Just as the gray stone appeared in Ning Cheng's palm, a majestic and vast primal chaos aura spread out from it. This majestic primal chaos aura merged with the heaven and earth aura of the mysterious yellow bead, but it did not seem out of place. Ning Qing felt a mysterious aura of the Grand Tao, causing Ning Qing to secretly marvel at it. He had no intention of comprehending the Grand Tao within this chaos stone. He had his own Great Tao. His Great Tao was also the origin Great Tao. It was not any weaker than the Chaos Great Tao in the stone. Ning Qing couldn't help but wonder what else did this primal Chaos stone contain besides the primal Chaos origin Tao. Why did so many people in Radiant Heaven want this stone? As Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness slowly penetrated into the primal Chaos stone, the primal Chaos aura grew thicker and thicker. He didn't know when, but Ning Cheng had completely lost the clarity to explore this Chaos stone. He had already sunk into the depths of this Chaos stone. In the midst of the dazzling white light, Ning Cheng could not see anything, other than the white light in front of him. There was only more white light. However, he could feel the vastness of the world and the vastness of the universe. A rumbling sound rang out beside him, as if a chaotic universe was slowly splitting apart. The blinding white in front of him suddenly turned pitch black. From white to black, nothing could be seen. However, the pitch-black color was more vivid than the white color, and it had an aura of life. Within this darkness, Ning Cheng vaguely felt the aura of laws. A natural feeling welled up in Ning Cheng's heart. The origin of the laws of darkness was not darkness, but that dazzling white. Black and white were only separated by a thin line. This was the origin of the rules. The feeling of enlightenment that excited Ning Cheng had yet to fully take shape. Primal chaos aura slowly spread out from the crack in the chaotic universe, and the vast aura of the laws of heaven and earth also slowly condensed. Black and white alternated with each other, causing the colors in front of Ning Cheng to become rich. He saw the laws of heaven and earth condensing. He saw the universe slowly taking shape. He saw everything sprouting and growing just like the beginning of spring. After the law of heaven and earth condensed, vitality also slowly formed. Plants and living creatures began to appear. In addition to life, the chaos verse also began to hear, breathe, and move. There were more emotions, joy, and sorrow, watching the world take shape with his own eyes, feeling the laws of heaven and earth taking shape with his own eyes, seeing all things condensed together. Ning Cheng felt as if all things in this world had gradually integrated into it. At this moment, he was like a statue, without the slightest aura. Or perhaps, his entire spirit and aura had fused with the chaos stone in his hand. Cultivation was timeless, and this kind of enlightenment was also timeless. 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. In the blink of an eye, 5,000 years had passed. The vast universe in front of Ning Cheng's eyes gradually took shape. He witnessed the formation of this universe with his own eyes. He saw the plants, the creatures struggling to survive in the universe, from birth to death, and then to extinction. He saw a blade of grass struggling to push away the stone that was crushing it, and he saw an elf-like deer trying to escape from the huge beast that was chasing after it. The grass pushed away the rocks and grew with great difficulty, but when the wind blew, it was once again pressed down by the rocks. Perhaps it had lost its initial intelligence and desire to live, and it finally rotted under the stone. After a few hundred years, another small grass grew under the stone. The elk escaped the pursuit of the giant beast, but it fell into the claws of another hungry wolf and was deprived of its life in despair. A feeling of being touched by life and hesitation for survival rose from the bottom of his heart. This feeling and hesitation made the tip of his nose sour, and he felt a kind of pity. How vast the universe was, how difficult it was to live. How majestic the universe was, how small life was. I can't let these humble lives disappear like this, I can't let these struggling creatures perish like this. Ning Cheng's heart began to struggle. He heard a deep call, a call that seemed to come from outside the world, but also from countless billions of years ago. Like ice water poured over his head, Ning Cheng suddenly woke up. The gray stone was still in his hand, and the stone still exuded a strong aura of primal chaos. He was still sitting inside the mysterious yellow bead, without any changes. His eyes were a little moist, and his heart was still fluctuating. After a long time, he took a long breath. He knew that these were not things he could intervene in. All things in the universe had life and death, origin and destruction. The heavenly Tao was natural, and it was difficult for all things to transcend. Even if it was him, he would eventually perish in this vast universe. An inexplicable sadness welled up in his heart, and he missed his family at this moment. Once upon a time, the willow trees were still growing. Today, I come to think of it, the rain and snow are falling. The journey is slow, the thirst and hunger are born. My heart is sad, but no one knows my sorrow. I pursue the great Tao, but in the end, I still can't escape the heavenly Tao and perish among all things. During the time I came out, how was my family? Those who know me, my heart is worried. Those who don't know me, what do I seek? Distant heavens. Who is this? Who caused me to become like this? This is caused by my pursuit of the great Tao. Go back, I must not waste my life here. After so many years of pursuit, do I really have to give up like this? Ning Cheng's heart surged with unwillingness. His eyes suddenly moved away from the gray primal chaos stone in his hand and looked into the distance of the mysterious yellow bead. The extinction of all things in the universe was caused by the heavenly Tao. If the heavenly Tao was in his hands, if the universe was created by him, if everything between heaven and earth was condensed by him, then who would dare to let him perish? Who would dare to let him perish? Who would dare to let Ning Cheng perish? The vague things that he and Nong Shirua had discussed about the third step became increasingly clear in front of Ning Cheng's eyes. He wanted to condense the laws of heaven and earth that belonged to him. He wanted these laws of heaven and earth to form a vast universe that belonged to him. I cultivate the great Tao of the laws of heaven and earth. I cultivate the mysterious yellow beads 5 elements origin Tao. I cultivate the mysterious yellow beads all things return to one. These are things that I comprehended, but they are not my own. I comprehended the great Tao between heaven and earth to obtain these things. I want to condense my own world, condense my own laws, no longer be bound by the original laws of heaven and earth, no longer be affected by the mysterious yellow formless. There is only one way. Severing Tao. Severing all the great Tao and all the laws that he comprehended. After I, Ning Cheng, sever my Tao, I can still condense my own great Tao and condense my own laws. At this moment, Ning Cheng saw a great Tao that belonged to him. He experienced the creation of the universe, the survival and extinction of all things. He experienced joy and sorrow, excitement and dullness. At this moment, he finally found the direction of the great Tao that belonged to him to condense the third step. He wanted to sever his Tao. He wanted to sever the 5 element laws, the ice wind thunder attributed laws, and the darkness attributed laws. Chasing Bull, let's not go to the heart of light and dark. Let's go to where we should go. Ning Cheng clenched the chaos stone and exuded an aura that looked down on the world. Chasing Bull didn't answer, but Ning Cheng suddenly sobered up. He was still in the mysterious yellow bead, but Chasing Bull controlled the starry sky wheel to head to the heart of light and dark 5,000 years ago. Over the years, he had been comprehending the chaos stone and had neglected this point for a while. Ning Cheng quickly left the mysterious yellow bead, but found that he was in a good immortal cave. As soon as he came out, Chasing Bull ran out and spoke, "Master, you're out of seclusion." Ning Cheng could see that Chasing Bull had built this cave. Moreover, Chasing Bull's strength had not only reached the Tao sculpting realm, but it had also improved. His eyes shone with excitement as he muttered to himself, "After so many years, you finally came out." Then, his whole body turned into a faint light and rushed out of the sacred master domain. Chapter 1429. Just as Tang Hua said, there were many cultivators wandering around the periphery of the heart of light and darkness. These people's cultivation levels were not very high. The highest among them was only at the Tao sculpting realm. When Ning Cheng's starry sky wheel passed over the heads of these people and entered the depths of the heart of light and dark, everyone who saw it shook their heads. Another person who was not afraid of death. Over the years, many people had entered the heart of light and darkness without fear of death. No matter how many people entered, none of them could come out. Ning Cheng stood in front of the starry sky wheel with his hands behind his back, while his spiritual consciousness swept through the surroundings. The heart of light and dark sounded very high-end, but in fact, it was a place where swamps and thorns were mixed together. There were indeed some good materials here, but Ning Cheng felt sure that this place did not have something like the soul-gathering immortal lotus. After so many years, with so many people wandering around the heart of light and darkness, it would be strange if there were still Luopa immortal lotuses. Fortunately, he had decisively chosen the soul-gathering immortal lotus in the light treasury. Otherwise, he really wouldn't know where to find such a thing. The heart of light and dark covered an extremely wide area, and Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could only reach a small part of it. Ning Cheng's cultivation did not improve even a little bit after spending 5,000 years inside the mysterious yellow bead. However, he hadn't spent the past 5,000 years in vain. Because of his understanding of the chaos stones, he had a better understanding of the changes in the heaven and earth laws. Even the slightest fluctuation would be caught by him. Master, we'll reach the depths of the heart of light and darkness if we go any further. I heard that it's a very dangerous place. Chasing Bull, who controlled the starry sky wheel, spoke in a weak tone. It seemed that after living on the edge of the heart of light and dark for so many years, it had also learned to fear. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile, and was just about to speak, when his eyebrows suddenly pricked up, and he immediately sneered, "You really do have some skills, no wonder you dared to let me go." "Master, what's the matter?" Chasing Bull asked hurriedly. Ning Cheng then said to Chasing Bull, "Since you entered the mysterious yellow bead, someone is chasing after you." "Yes, Master." When Chasing Bull heard that someone had chased after them, how could it have any thoughts of staying outside? He could not wait to enter the mysterious yellow bead as soon as possible. These people from the Holy Realm are rotten to the core. They're actually cutting my flesh to make soup. If another freak like this appeared, the little bit of cultivation that this Lord Ox had painstakingly accumulated would also be destroyed. If its master couldn't beat them, it would be sending itself to death if it stayed outside. If its master could defeat it, then it didn't have to worry. After sending Chasing Bull into the mysterious yellow bead, Ning Cheng took control of the starry sky wheel. He didn't think of running away. He knew who was chasing after him. He had stayed in the mysterious yellow bead to perceive the primal chaos ash stone for 5,000 years, yet someone still managed to catch up to him. Besides Yuan Mao, there was no one else. Since Yuan Mao had the ability to search, he naturally wouldn't mind letting him go. However, at that time, Yuan Mao did not think that he would have the mysterious yellow bead. After entering the mysterious yellow bead, he could not sense him anymore. 5,000 years later, when he came out of the mysterious yellow bead, Yuan Mao once again sensed him. He had destroyed the imprint that Yuan Mao had placed on him. The only way that Yuan Mao could sense him was through his Dao runes. If it were 5,000 years ago, Ning Cheng would never have felt the subtle fluctuations of Dao charm aura around him. At this moment, as soon as Yuan Mao sensed his Dao charm aura, Ning Cheng immediately sensed the fluctuations. The reason why Ning Cheng did not intend to escape was because he knew that by the time Yuan Mao reached the edge of the heart of light and dark, he would have already entered the depths of the heart of light and dark. Secondly, even if he did not enter the depths of the heart of light and dark, Yuan Mao's cultivation might not be able to crush him. Even if he was not Yuan Mao's opponent, Yuan Mao would not be able to stop him if he wanted to escape. As for calling Chasing Bull into the mysterious yellow bead, it was not for Yuan Mao, but because Ning Cheng planned to step into the third step in the depths of the heart of light and dark. He actually went to the heart of light and dark. Yuan Mao looked in the direction of the heart of light and dark in doubt and sped up. The heart of light and dark was located at the junction of the bright sky and the dark sky. It was the only place between the bright sky and the dark sky without the sacred domain river. Whether it was the people from the bright sky or the dark sky, everyone could go to the heart of light and dark sky. However, everyone knew about the dangers of the heart of light and dark. Over the years, there were very few people who could come out of the heart of light and dark unscathed. Even Yuan Mao did not dare to enter the heart of light and dark rashly. Yuan Mao did not think that Ning Cheng would enter the heart of light and dark to die. Moreover, Ning Cheng also understood the dangers of the heart of light and dark. In this case, there was only one reason why Ning Cheng dared to enter the heart of light and dark. Ning Cheng found a way to enter the heart of light and dark in the light treasury. Thinking of this, Yuan Mao's heart became even more fervent. He seemed to have seen himself owning a good fortune treasure, entering the heart of light and dark and owning the light and dark treasure tree. Although Yuan Mao's guess was not entirely correct, it was close to the truth. Ning Cheng wanted to enter the heart of light and dark before because he heard that there was a light and dark treasure tree in the depths of the heart of light and dark. Later, after comprehending the Chaos Stone, he lost much interest in entering the heart of light and dark. What he wanted was to condense his own law world and step into the third step. However, the Chaos Stone also called out to the heart of light and dark. Half a month later, Ning Cheng put away the starry sky wheel. In the depths of the heart of light and dark, Ning Cheng's speed was also restricted. From time to time, a whirlpool of Tao charm appeared in the depths of the heart of light and dark. If not for Ning Cheng, who was extremely sensitive to the fluctuations of the heaven and earth Tao, he might have already been sucked into the whirlpool of Tao charm. After a few more days, Ning Cheng finally stopped. He finally understood why this place was called the heart of light and dark. The area in front of him was a heart-shaped domain. Half of the edge of the domain was dazzling white, while the other half was dark gray. He could capture the entire edge of the domain with his spiritual consciousness, but his spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate the domain at all. Every time Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness tried to enter the heart of light and dark, a vast and majestic aura rolled over and swallowed his spiritual consciousness completely. After standing at the edge of the heart of light and dark for a long time, Ning Cheng took a deep breath and stepped into the heart of light and dark. Boom! Kaka, Ning Cheng had just stepped into the heart of light and dark area when a violent and powerful heaven and earth Tao charm rolled over. Just like when it swallowed Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness, it directly swept away part of the Tao charm around Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng felt his darkness Tao charm being swallowed up by this space. It was as if the laws of darkness he had comprehended over the years had been prepared for the depths of the heart of light and dark. The vast and majestic heaven and earth laws rolled over. The laws of light and the laws of darkness merged together, suppressing Ning Cheng to the point where he couldn't move. Ning Cheng was shocked. His spiritual consciousness was completely bound. At this moment, not to mention using his spiritual consciousness to observe the situation outside, he couldn't even capture the scene around him with his spiritual consciousness. However, this panic only lasted for a moment. Ning Cheng quickly calmed down. He could still stretch out the 5 elemental attribute laws he originally controlled. Chapter 1430. As Ning Cheng's Tao sense rose, the primal chaos gray stone in his hand suddenly burst open, and the chaotic aura of the universe's creation merged with the chaotic aura of the heart of light and darkness. Ning Cheng once again fell into the state of perceiving the formation of the universe. Although Tao charms surrounded his body, there was no movement. An aura that couldn't integrate with the surrounding laws of heaven and earth, or even the Tao charm laws around him, formed out of thin air. This aura was incompatible with the surrounding heaven and earth grand Tao, but it seemed to be more compatible with him than the heaven and earth grand Tao. At first, this Tao charm aura was very weak, but Ning Cheng seemed to attach great importance to it. As time passed, it slowly grew stronger. As this Tao charm grew stronger, the aura of Ning Cheng's own perception was pushed away and surrounded Ning Cheng more clearly. The metal-attributed Tao charm laws, which had originally merged with Ning Cheng's Tao charm, were squeezed out by these Tao charm laws. Instead, they formed a clear origin aura around him. It was something that all cultivators yearned for. But at this moment, the unique Tao charm aura formed around Ning Cheng's body turned into a Tao charm sharp blade that chopped down without hesitation. Ning Cheng, who had his eyes closed, felt as if someone had cut off his skin and flesh with a knife, causing him to tremble uncontrollably. The metal-attributed Tao charm laws also trembled crazily at this moment, as if complaining of unfair treatment. But Ning Cheng didn't respond. After the unique Tao charm aura cut through the metal-attributed Tao charm laws, it directly swallowed them up. After an unknown amount of time, Ning Cheng could no longer feel the metal-attributed Tao charm laws around him. The metal-attributed Tao charm laws had been cut off. After the metal-attributed Tao charm laws were cut off, the Tao charm that Ning Cheng had fused with himself became even more powerful and once again pushed away the wood-attributed Tao charm laws around Ning Cheng. The wood-attributed origin Tao charm had just condensed into a substantial aura around Ning Cheng when the Tao charm aura formed around him turned into a sharp blade and swallowed it. After cutting off the metal-attributed Tao charm aura, Ning Cheng's own Tao charm aura grew even stronger and even formed a rudimentary form of laws. Cultivation knew no time, and cutting one's Tao was even more torturous. Time passed, and years flew by. Ning Cheng, who was in the depths of the heart of light and dark, was gradually wrapped in all kinds of Tao charm aura. Tao charm laws were constantly being cut down and devoured. His own Taoist aura was also condensing, forming a more solid nomological aura. This was a new law that did not exist between heaven and earth, nor did it exist within the universe. This was a law that Ning Cheng had comprehended on his own. Wen Mao stood at the edge of the heart of light and darkness, staring at the depths of the heart of light and darkness in shock. He had been to this place before, and not just once. Although he could not observe the depths of the heart of light and darkness with his divine sense, he could feel that it was not violent. At this moment, Wen Mao could clearly feel the berserk power of the heart of light and darkness. At this moment, it seemed that all the laws of the heart of light and darkness had begun to shatter. These shattered laws were extremely chaotic. What did he do in the heart of light and darkness? Wen Mao clenched his fist and muttered to himself. Unfortunately, he did not have the means to enter the heart of light and darkness. Should he go in or wait outside? Wen Mao made up his mind in a very short time. He would wait outside first. Once the berserk aura in the depths of the heart of light and darkness weakened, he would immediately enter the heart of light and darkness. Wen Mao never expected that he would wait for such a long time. After the berserk aura in the heart of light and darkness started to become berserk, it did not stop. Not only that, but the berserk aura also became more and more berserk. All kinds of Taoist aura roared, the sound of laws shattering, and even the power of heaven and earth trembling. Under such power, Wen Mao did not retreat from the edge of the heart of light and darkness. As for entering the depths of the heart of light and darkness, he had long since put that idea aside. No matter how good the treasure was, he had to stay alive. Time passed, and in a blink of an eye, another 5,000 years had passed. Wen Mao had already steeled his heart. Even if it took 500,000 years, he would still wait. The berserk aura in the depths of the heart of light and darkness seemed to slowly weaken. Wen Mao came out of the cave mansion in surprise. When he saw the scene in the heart of light and darkness, he suddenly froze. He saw the indomitable light and darkness treasure tree, the beautiful rainbow in front of the light and darkness treasure tree, and he also saw, time seemed to pass in the blink of an eye for Ning Cheng. He continued to cut down his Tao, condensed his own Tao charm, and condensed his own Tao charm into new laws. He also condensed the new laws into the universe. The 5 elements Tao charm laws that he had once comprehended had been cut off. The wind, thunder, and ice Tao charm laws that he had once comprehended had also been cut off. The darkness Tao charm laws that the heart of light and darkness had devoured as soon as he came in had also been cut off from his own Tao. The time Tao charm laws that he had once comprehended had also been cut off. The space Tao charm laws that he had once comprehended had also been cut off. As long as it was the Tao charm laws that he had once comprehended in the 5 elements universe, they had all been cut off without any attachment. It was as if he came here naked, and then knitted his own clothes in his nakedness. The Tao charm that he had condensed gradually grew after cutting off many of the laws of heaven and earth. From the initial Tao charm aura, it formed a new embryonic form of Tao charm laws. This new embryonic form of law was still growing and slowly condensing into a new world. It was a gray world. In this world, apart from Ning Cheng, there was only coldness and darkness. Time passed, and 5,000 years passed in a blink of an eye. The new laws gradually spread out in this world, forming light, darkness, the sky, the earth, and the rivers. The vegetation on the earth began to sprout, the breeze in the sky began to flow, and the waves in the rivers slowly rolled up. The colors of the gray world gradually became richer, and the silence was gradually replaced by noise. His own Tao charm laws also gradually overlapped with the world, and the laws split apart and decomposed into more laws of heaven and earth. Perhaps these laws of heaven and earth weren't called metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, ice, or light and darkness. But these laws of heaven and earth also gave birth to the colors of the world. Ning Cheng's eyes became moist again. This was his world. As long as he lived, his world would live. No one could interfere with the survival and destruction of his world. In his world, he was the master. In the first 5,000 years, he witnessed the formation of the chaotic universe above the chaos gray stone and the birth of various laws. After another 5,000 years, his own world formed, which was condensed by his own laws. Rumbling sounds exploded in the air, and black holes appeared in the depths of the heart of light and darkness. The heart of light and darkness seemed to be angry that someone dared to condense a new world in this universe that didn't belong to any heavenly Tao. Endless black holes swallowed Ning Cheng, but Ning Cheng didn't move at all. Or rather, he didn't need to move at all. His world was like a space that completely protected him. No wind, rain, thunder, or violence could move him in the slightest. Ning Cheng's eyes slowly opened, and everything around him quietened down. The heart of light and darkness, which was filled with chaotic aura, also calmed down. A rainbow appeared in front of him, and behind the rainbow, a giant tree that was half black and half white stood there. The giant tree exuded boundless vitality and transformed into the boundless Tao runes of the darkness and light laws. Ning Cheng knew that it was the light and darkness treasure tree of the heart of light and darkness. Ning Cheng raised his hand, and his world appeared behind his palm. My Ning City's realm condenses its own Tao charm. My Ning City's realm is not within the 5 elements, nor is it within light and darkness. My Ning City's realm controls only my Ning City. My Ning City's realm is not affected by the decline of heaven and earth and transcends beyond the universe. Today, my Ning City's realm has reached the 3rd step. Ning Cheng's clear voice spread throughout the depths of the heart of light and darkness. As Ning Cheng's voice fell, clear Tao charm laws surrounded Ning Cheng. The surrounding roars gradually quieted down, as if afraid of angering Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng raised his hand and pointed out with his finger. Spirit technique, order-breaking finger. Boom! A black hole appeared, and the entire heart of light and darkness's realm trembled. It was the same order-breaking finger, but it was no longer the same spirit technique as before. Even if heaven and earth fell into silence, even if the universe was destroyed, as long as his realm remained, his order-breaking finger would no longer be affected by the laws of heaven and earth in the outside universe. From now on, any of his nomological spirit techniques would no longer be affected by the outside universe. He had his own world, and his world was formed by the laws he condensed. Even if someone used the order-breaking finger on him, as long as his world remained, the order-breaking finger wouldn't affect him. Unless the other party controlled all the laws in his world, they would never be able to break his nomological spirit technique by breaking the laws. Ning Cheng stood with his hands behind his back. He had succeeded in creating his realm today. In the future, the stronger his realm became, the stronger he would become. Feeling himself fusing with the laws of the realm he created, Ning Cheng's heart was filled with anticipation. He also felt glad that he could escape from Xing Shi's hands several times. He had never thought that he would become so powerful after stepping into the creation realm. Even if Xing Shi didn't create her own realm like his, it would still far surpass ordinary pseudo-realms and fake realms. Ning Cheng's gaze swept out. Originally, he couldn't see through the periphery of the heart of light and darkness. But at this moment, he could clearly see Yiwen Mao. Yiwen Mao stood outside and stared at the light and darkness treasure tree in shock, as well as the rainbow in front of the light and darkness treasure tree. If Ning Cheng had seen this light and darkness treasure tree before he created his realm, he would have done everything he could to take away this treasure tree. But at this moment, Ning Cheng's gaze swept past the treasure tree. He didn't care about it at all. Instead, his gaze fell on the river behind the treasure tree. This was the Sacred Domain River. Although the Sacred Domain River here had ripples, it was undoubtedly the Sacred Domain River. Chapter 1431. In just a few breaths, the ripples on the surface of the river gradually shrank and looked like it was about to disappear. Ning Cheng dispelled the idea of going inside to investigate. He didn't have to enter the Sacred Domain River from here. The surface of the Sacred Domain River must have appeared due to the fluctuations of his realm creation. His current strength was many times stronger than when he was at the second step. The stronger he became, the more Ning Cheng knew his shortcomings. In the vast universe, there were too many powerhouses. He could cut through the Tao creation realm and reach the third step. How could he know if there were any powerhouses like him before him? As the surface of the light and dark universe, how could the Sacred Domain River be so simple? If he wanted to enter the Sacred Domain River, he would have to go through the place he had explored before. The light and darkness treasure tree gradually faded, and the rainbow also slowly dissipated. The heart of light and darkness seemed to have returned to its original appearance. Only Ning Cheng knew that he had devoured many heaven and earth laws here. When he first came in, the heart of light and darkness had devoured his darkness Tao charm. At this time, he had already devoured it hundreds of millions of times. It was time to go out. Ning Cheng didn't do anything to the light and darkness treasure tree. The light and darkness treasure tree belonged to the light and dark universe, so it was best for the light and dark universe to stay here. Ning Cheng might not have realized this before, but after his world formed, he realized how difficult it was to form a world. Maybe one day, his world would also give birth to a tree with the same heaven and earth laws. He naturally wouldn't let others take away this tree. What's more, after he reached the third step, the light and darkness treasure tree's usefulness to him had declined infinitely. After seeing the light and darkness treasure tree, Yuanmao only paused for a few breaths before he could no longer hold back and stepped into the heart of light and darkness without hesitation. The light and darkness treasure tree didn't have much attraction to Ning Cheng at this time, but it was a treasure of heaven and earth for Yuanmao. The moment Yuanmao entered the heart of light and darkness, the light and darkness treasure tree no longer appeared in front of him. The chaotic laws around him constantly devoured the Tao charm around him, making it difficult for him to even take half a step. A sense of fear welled up in his heart. Even though he knew that the heart of light and darkness had a slim chance of survival, he still felt afraid when faced with such a terrifying scene. It was rumored that only one person could come out after entering the heart of light and darkness. That person was Nong Shimu. However, every time he asked Nong Shimu would just smile and not answer him directly. In his opinion, even if he was not as powerful as Nong Shimu, the difference would not be too great. Now that he was standing in the depths of the heart of light and darkness, the Tao runes and laws around him were constantly being devoured. Only then did he understand why almost none of those who entered the heart of light and darkness could come out. At the same time, he also knew how big the gap between him and Nongzimu was. If he, Yuanmao, couldn't find a way to solve the problem of his Tao charm being devoured, he would end up like the gray bones beneath his feet. Ning Cheng easily stepped out of the heart of light and dark. At the same time, he saw Yuanmao enter the heart of light and dark. Ning Cheng shook his head, he was simply too lazy to care about Yuanmao. Even if Yuanmao's cultivation was stronger than his before he reached the third step, it would be extremely difficult for him to come out after entering. As for him going in and adding fuel to the fire to kill Yuanmao, Ning Cheng did not have such an idea. The depths of the heart of light and darkness looked very small from the outside, but in fact, it was extremely vast inside. Who knew how long it would take to find Yuan Mao? Besides, although Yuan Mao wanted the things on him, he had still helped him a little, so he should just let him fend for himself. Ning Cheng did not immediately leave this place, rather entered the mysterious yellow bead. Thousands of years had passed since he started creating worlds. Over the past few thousand years, Ning Cheng didn't know how chasing bulls' cultivation had improved. Ning Cheng had just entered the mysterious yellow bead and hadn't even had the time to observe chasing bull's realm with his spiritual consciousness when his heart moved slightly. The underworld crow ghost Rattan King woke up. Since the underworld crow ghost Rattan King fell into a deep slumber, it hadn't woken up. Who would have thought that he would wake up at this moment? Master. As soon as the underworld crow ghost Rattan King woke up, it immediately sent out a thought in surprise. Ning Cheng could feel the joy from the underworld crow ghost Rattan King, but it was more concentrated on the light and dark treasure tree. It's just that after he entered the mysterious yellow bead, the underworld crow ghost Rattan King could no longer sense the light and darkness treasure tree. That's right, he's already at the Tao modeling realm. It looks like all these years have not been wasted in vain. Ning Cheng spoke up with appreciation. The cultivation of plant spirits was much more difficult, especially at high levels. Being able to sculpt one's Tao was an opportunity among opportunities. Ordinary plant spirits would be snatched away before they could even take shape. If this underworld crow ghost Rattan King wasn't by Ning Cheng's side, it wouldn't have been able to sculpt its Tao even if it took another 1,000 or 5,000 years. Don't disturb Master's thoughts. The underworld crow ghost Rattan King, who wanted to quarrel with Chasing Bull, quickly shut up after seeing Ning Cheng's dignified expression and left with Chasing Bull. What that fellow said turned out to be true. Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the mysterious yellow bead space and he muttered to himself with a cold tone. Inside his mysterious yellow bead, there was a law that was slightly different from the surrounding laws. Before Ning Cheng stepped into the third step, or rather, before he condensed his own laws to reach the third step, he wouldn't have been able to see this difference. But now that he had condensed his own laws to create a world and stepped into the third step, he felt this law as soon as he entered the mysterious yellow bead. Outsiders wouldn't enter his mysterious yellow bead, but this heaven and earth law was different from the original laws. There was only one reason for it, the previous owner of the mysterious yellow bead. As for the reason, Ning Cheng guessed that it was the same as what the void voice in the slaughter world had told him. This heaven and earth law had guided the previous owner of the mysterious yellow bead to come here and turn Ning Cheng into a spirit of good fortune. Ning Cheng sneered and didn't touch the law at all. He wanted to see who this fellow was. You stay here and cultivate. I'll go to the radiant sacred domain first and then find a way back. Ning Cheng left Chasing Bull and the underworld crow ghost Rattan King before leaving the mysterious yellow bead. Chasing Bull had walked for many years to reach the periphery of the heart of light and darkness from the radiant sacred domain. But now, Ning Cheng had returned to the first sacred lord region of the radiant sacred domain from the heart of light and darkness in just a few days. This was the difference in strength, a qualitative difference. After stepping into the third step, he no longer controlled heaven and earth laws, but his own laws. Ning Cheng knew that he had just created a world, and the laws he condensed were still in their embryonic form. Once his laws became more complete, even if he was still in the creation realm, he was confident that he could step into the sacred Lord region from the heart of light and darkness in just half a day. Once he integrated his own world and stepped into the amalgamation realm, he might be able to reach the sacred Lord region from the heart of light and darkness in just a few steps. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the caves of sacred Lord Zhu Jin and one of the 10 Tao monarchs, Yushi, without any fear. If someone slapped him on the left side of his face, he would immediately deliver the right side. It was not Ning Cheng's nature to not take revenge. He had come here to destroy the Yu clan's cave and then kill Yushi and Zhu Jin. To Ning Cheng's regret, Yushi and Zhu Jin were not in the cave. Not only were these two not here, but even Tang Shi was not here. If Tang Shi was here, Ning Cheng might not have killed him, but he would have taught this old thing a lesson. Unfortunately, he did not encounter any of them. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to step into the void and directly stepped on the heart of the Yu clan's defensive array formation. With Ning Cheng's current cultivation and understanding of the array Dao, just this step was enough to shatter the Yu clan's defensive array formation. Not only that, Ning Cheng once again punched out and destroyed Yushi's immortal cave. The people from the Yu clan could not even touch Ning Cheng's shadow. Although he would not start a massacre in the Yu clan, Ning Cheng did not show any mercy when he destroyed the Yu clan's defensive array and Yushi's cave. If Yushi was here, he would have killed him on the spot. Even if Zhu Jin was not in the Sacred Lord Mansion, Ning Cheng would not let him off. After destroying the Sacred Lord Mansion's array formation, Ning Cheng also turned Zhu Jin's Sacred Lord Mansion into ruins. I destroyed the Lei Fu Dao Gate. Aren't you a bird, Zhu Jin? Today, I'll destroy your Sacred Lord Mansion again. I'm not afraid of you coming for me. I'm afraid that you won't come for me. After destroying these two places, Ning Cheng took out the jade talisman Nong Shirua gave him and prepared to recall the five-colored star splitter bow. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.